It is Thursday, and that means it's time for event domination. And this is where I take you behind the scenes with everything I've learned about running my conference, scaling it, and also all the lessons we learn helping all of our other clients. Because one of the really cool things that we do is we coach and support other conferences to help them generate more ticket sales, more revenue, and more sponsorship. And today, the topic is how to make money with events. And I've learned some incredible lessons with my conference, specifically in terms of what makes money and what doesn't make money with events. Now, I'm going to be walking you through 3 different streams with that and how they all work together. But first, I think it's important to understand the frame and the context of why you actually want to run an event versus some type of other lead gen or sales mechanism. Because if you're a coach, consultant, if you're a speaker, author, something like that. Oh, I'm getting some flickers here. Okay.
Yeah, the thing came down.
Oh, did it come down? So if you're a coach, author, speaker, if you have a product or a service, you probably, well, I know for sure you have multiple lead generation funnels or just systems. You could run webinars. You could have ebooks. You could run you could have like just a straight opt-in book a call funnel. There's so many different ways to generate those leads. Now, what I've learned, because I've done them all, the thing I've learned is that with events, it is the highest intent audience you will ever be in front of. Why? Well, let me just break this down. So when I'm looking for lead gen, I'm looking for intent. What is the frame through which the person enters the conversation? So with a webinar, for example, that's low intent, right? Because they're free or they're almost free. People show up in their pajamas to listen. They're probably driving at the same time, yelling at their kids, and then you've got the webinar playing over there. You're not going to have large buy-in. Ebook, same thing. Click of a button. It's free, low intent. Everybody comes in. So you've got like a large amount of unqualified people there. Even if you have a really good targeting, really good copy on the page, good headline that's hopefully going to repel the people you don't want, you're still going to get a lot of that in. And I can just go down the list. But with an event, it changes because the intent is far different than somebody on the internet with like that webinar or ebook examples I use. With an event, they have to travel. Often they have to put some money in terms of hotels, food. They're investing a lot of time, so away from work, the family. It's a big commitment to show up to an event. So yeah, is it more challenging to get somebody to show up to an event than to show up for a webinar? Absolutely. But the end result, which is what we all care about, which is how we convert and make money with it, the end result with an event is you have a much higher a higher intent audience. If somebody is willing to drive or to fly to your event, if they're willing to invest time, if they're willing to invest money, and they show up in their butts in seats listening to you and your content at the event, they are a much, much, much more qualified buyer than somebody who just downloads an ebook or somebody who just downloads a webinar. Very, very different context and very different sales conversation that you have. Because let me tell you, if somebody's willing to fly across the country to show up to your event to solve a problem or to help them achieve a goal, the percentage chance of them to converting is much higher. So at events, you can convert 20% of the audience, 15% of the audience to high ticket products. Whereas, with an ebook, maybe you sell it for $7, right? And then you may have a back end, but your percentages are so low. You're probably looking at 2%, like 1 to 2%, or even 0.5% of people doing business with you. With an event, you're able to sell high ticket products to way more qualified people, and the buying rate is a lot. I mean, the timeline is a lot quicker. So at an event, you're on stage, you deliver a lot of content. People will approach you immediately and want to do business with you because you are live in the flesh. Rather than the webinar, it's like pulling teeth, just like dragging people across the finish line trying to get them in. With an event, they're right there, boom, you do it. So, and that's why, I've learned so much with events, so much, especially when it comes to what works and what doesn't work in terms of conversion and what it takes to sell. So let me break down how you make money with events. Because for the most part, with few exceptions, but for the most part, we have to make money with events. Like that, if they're not making money, it doesn't make sense to run. So the way we look at events and making money is we have three things. So this is called the revenue triad. And it's the three ways that events generate profit. Okay, so on the front end, there's two items on the front end. So we have ticket sales and we have sponsorship. Now let me just concentrate on ticket sales for a second. The number one issue we see with events that come to us for help through the Conference Accelerator, the number one issue we see is that events undersell themselves in terms of ticket price. So this is where you get really cheap tickets. The problem with that is as you scale your event and as you have to market and more your event to generate larger and larger audiences. Like with my event, we've scaled to thousands of people, right? If you're an event right now, maybe the event's stuck at 500 people and you want to scale to 1,500, you have to have that marketing reach. And if you're only charging $150 or $200 a ticket, for example, you're going to be flipped upside down. And now you don't have enough money to properly market, but more importantly, you don't have enough revenue there to fulfill on the event and to make the production really, really good. So the whole thing starts with pricing your tickets appropriately. Number one, having the right pricing strategy to make sure you're profitable going in. And also making sure you have separate tiers and how we build out those tiers with different experiences to capitalize on the different levels in your audience and the different spending habits and expectations of your audience. Because 10% of your audience is going to expect a premium experience. If you're not doing that, then you're missing out on a whole bunch of revenue. So there's so many events that we see that come in, and they have one price for everybody. You're leaving thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table if you just have a single pricing tier. So what happens is with a lot of events, they come in, the ticket sales, the pricing isn't set up. What you get for that price isn't really set up, it's not optimized. So we're leaving a lot of money. Now, on the other side, we control the quality of our audience through the pricing that you charge and the types of experience you offer with those tickets. In my industry, so I'm in the real estate industry, there are 101 free or almost free events. And what type of audience to get showing up to that? Well, people who want free or almost free stuff. With my conference, we charge premium pricing, but one of the comments we get all the time is, wait, like you have a really good audience. Well, yes, because people have to pay a premium to get in the door. And if somebody's willing to pay a premium to get in the door, and they want to hang out with other people like that, and they're serious, like they're motivated, they actually want to get stuff done. They're engaged. A very different experience than running a free or almost free event. So this is one of the very first things we do when we start working with events and helping them improve and get a better game plan together, is we focus on ticket sales and what experience are we offering and what's the price point, because we have to be able to generate that front end revenue through ticket sales. The second thing we do is sponsorship. Sponsorship is a great thing if done properly. If done wrong, it can really sink you. So I've made a bunch of mistakes with sponsorship when I first started. Now with sponsorship, The way I approach sponsorship, and it's a great front-end revenue, right? Because you've already taken all this time and effort to build this audience, to market the event. Everybody's there. And your event has a big promise. Like you're solving one main issue. What happens is, for example, maybe I'm running a conference for gym owners, for example, conference for gym owners. So I'm on the main stage. The content is centered around, well, how can you scale your gyms? How can you acquire more locations? But your audience, portions of your audience are going to have what I call sub-problems, sub-challenges. So maybe a fraction of them have a challenge with managing their payroll. Maybe another fraction has a problem with recruiting trainers. Maybe another portion has a problem with ad creative testing, whatever it is. If your main content doesn't cover any of that stuff, but through a data-driven research process, so this is all the stuff we use to build out our sponsorship package, to build out our events, our tickets and what we offer and all that. You have to go based on data. But if you know from doing that process that a portion, 20% of your audience has trouble with payroll, well, that's where you go and you find a payroll company to come in who can solve that problem. They're not stepping on your toes. They're not taking away from your offer, but they're actually helping you present a more complete solution to your audience who has that. And then if you have somebody who has like a marketing issue, maybe you don't cover that in your main offer and your content. Well, again, that's where you find a marketing company to come in to sponsor it, and they will pay a premium to tap into your audience because you have a highly qualified audience. You've got a lot of free shows out there, and guess what? Sponsors don't pay very much for those because it's a low quality audience. We have people pay us a large amount of money to tap into like 50 people in our audience of thousands of people, because that's who they're looking for. And so, one of our strengths is creating sponsorship packages that really tailor to exactly who that person's looking to target, and we can create activations to help them do that. So with sponsorship, huge. If you're not doing sponsorship with your event, you have to start, because that's a whole different revenue stream that you're missing out on if you're not doing that. And if you're underperforming on sponsorship, that's, again, a huge place where we can help you do that and generate far more sponsorship revenue. Yes, if you're just doing ticket sales right now, if you just add sponsorship, you can add another 50% to your front end revenue, and we're not even talking about the gravy yet. Okay, so ticket sales, sponsorship, these two are your front end. This is before the event even starts. Now, your event's running. You're delivering great content. Everybody loves it. You're at the top of the game. A portion of your audience is going to want to continue working with you to solve their issues and help them achieve their goals. Not everybody, but a portion. Now, this is going to depend on, again, the quality of your audience. The higher quality, the more you charge to get in the door, the larger percentage of people who will be more qualified for your offer, and you'll be able to convert or ascend more people. So we just finished wrapping up working with an event, and so their packages were $45,000 and $100,000 packages that they were offering at their event, and they closed about 10%. Now, obviously, there's room for improvement there, but of their audience, like that was a multi-million-dollar day just converting 10% of their audience. I was just at an event where about 15% of the audience converted, and to a high ticket, it was like a $20,000 product. So you can have these really, really good days with events, and it doesn't have to be thousands of people. You can run a workshop with 50 people, and then out of those 50 people, you can convert 10, 15, 20 of those participants to a high ticket offer. Maybe it's a $10,000 offer, 20, 40, $50,000, $100,000 offer, like in that one example. Like that's the power of events, because they're there, they've committed the time, the energy, the effort, and now they're looking to continue working with you. That's a high ticket offer. We're not selling a $97 thing. Like you're selling a high ticket solution there. So this brings me to number 3. Oh, I just misspelled it. So it's back end. And what I mean by back end, if you're not familiar with the term, is all the sales that happen on the back of the event. So what's the offer you're making to the audience to continue working? What solutions are you offering at the event? And again, a good conversion rate, like you want to be 15 to 20% for back-end sales of the audience. Now, a lot has to add up to that. You have to have a good fit between the audience and the product. So you want to do a lot of testing with that ahead of time. You want to make sure that you have the qualified audience, the people who are qualified, who are financially able to afford the solution, and who are actively searching and who want that type of solution. So there's a lot that goes into this. But if you can put in the room, so let's say you have 1,000 people in the room and you convert 15%, that's 150 sales of maybe it's a $10,000 product, right? Or maybe it's a $50,000 product and 150 people convert. There's so many things you can do with back-end sales. So the way we approach this is your ticket sales and your sponsorship. That gets you across. The back end here, this is the gravy. You make your gravy with your back-end product. Plus, you're going to bring a lot more people in into your pipeline. So let me show you what most people do and how we do it a little bit differently. So generally speaking, and this is the way a lot of people approach events, right? So they've got their lead magnet. They'll sell people to like a lower ticket offer, and then they sell them to the high ticket offer here. And then they say, oh, okay, well, we should launch an event or a conference for all of our people. We'll bring people out. So the event is at basically the back. It's a fulfillment event. When I launched my conference, I was like, you know what? I think we're missing a lot of potential here. So we flipped everything on its head. So at the top, what we do is our event is our top lead magnet. And we generate tens of thousands of leads for that. And then at the event, we make an offer. And then we could actually have other events after this, like workshops, mini conferences, and then we can continue to offer different packages and products. So it just, the big event, our big conference is the tip of the spear, and that opens the door. And if you're generating, let's say 30,000 sales leads, right, through this one event, that's going to keep your sales team busy. And then now you can offer and upsell and send people through your events. And then you have like mini conferences that spawn from that. That's the way we run it. And it works really, really well. So if you're running events, like the way you make money with it is, number one, you dial in your ticket sales. Because remember the 3 things, right? We got tickets, we got sponsorship, and we have back end. The way you make money with events is, number one, you have to charge enough money with your tickets, and you have to sell a lot. You have to sell a lot of tickets. But that's going to give you your most qualified audience. Then now that you have the audience, you have sponsors come in, solve all the problems you can't solve for your audience, but they're looking for solutions. So that way you offer a more complete solution. And they're going to pay you a premium to tap into that audience. And then you have your back end, so you make your offer, and that's where you make your gravy. And then this is where you continue to support and work with your audience who wants to. Not everybody will, but a portion will, a percentage. So this could be 15 to 20% will want to continue to work with you and support and get that support from you as you go. And the other people, you can hit them up with another low ticket offer, and then you can recycle back because maybe that offer is not a fit, but maybe a lower ticket one is. Or maybe they're looking for a more custom solution. But that's how you make events work for you, and that's how you make money with events, okay? So I hope that was helpful. If you run an event Or if you're, a consultant, a coach, and you're looking to launch your first event even, like might as well just start with a working blueprint, a proven blueprint, rather than figuring this out on your own like I did, making a ton of expensive mistakes. So go to theconferenceaccelerator.com, check it out, book a call with my team, hop on the phone, and we'll figure out a solution to scale your conference and to grow your revenue, grow your attendance, and just grow your business. All right. So I'll see you guys next week. I'm a little bit hoarse, but hopefully my voice is 100% next week. So I'll see you then.